What's up guys, Stephanie with AmericanMuscle.com, and this is my review of the Roush Axle-Back Exhaust fitting 2015 and up EcoBoost Mustangs. The Roush Axle-Back is going to be a good option for the S550 EcoBoost owners out there that are looking for a more aggressive, raspy exhaust note from an Axle-Back system. This isn't necessarily an over-the-top or too loud of a system, but it's definitely not a quiet or toned-down system either. So this is a perfect option for guys that are looking for something loud and something that's going to open up some exhaust flow and give a meaner sound than the factory exhaust. The Axle-Back is designed to open up sound and exhaust flow and ultimately power. So this Axle-Back does have Roush's hollow, open-chambered mufflers that are straight-through muffler, and it's on the louder side. This is a full stainless steel Axle-Back, and it's also mandrel bent. And you're looking at 4-inch polished stainless steel tips for out back as well that are chrome flashed. And stainless steel is always a great option for cars that see all different types of road conditions because it offers great corrosion resistance. From the EcoBoost, you can hear that at idle, the Axle-Back is deeper than the factory exhaust and it's also louder. As the RPMs climb, the Axle-Back loses some of its deepness and the Axle-Back gets louder. There's a lot of raspiness and pop to it, but the Axle-Back's made for that. It increases in volume. It doesn't really get quiet like some other Axle-Backs do, which is what makes it perfect for those that are not looking for a tame exhaust. And speaking of things like volume and raspiness, I will admit that this Axle-Back may have a little bit of sound distortion to it, especially in the higher RPMs. But that is something that's normal, even with the factory exhaust and high RPMs. So some people love a raspy note and others try to avoid it, and this system has a lot of that. So if you're not looking for those qualities, then there are some other better options for you on the site. And like most aftermarket Axle-Backs, this one's going to open up some of that nice turbo noise in the EcoBoost. It has better flow, and so the turbo noise is very noticeable with this Axle-Back. You can hear the turbo spool, and you get a lot of the blow-off noise as well. Now with all this being said, you have to keep in mind that the EcoBoost is a 4-cylinder turbo car. And it's not going to sound like a V8. It's going to have a different sound than the V6 even, and you can't really make it sound identical to a V8. There are, however, other exhaust options that can give you a smoother sound that resembles more of a V8, so don't be discouraged if you're an EcoBoost owner and you aren't into this Axle-Back. Overall, this is a deep sounding system that has a lot of raspiness and popping to it. I wouldn't call it quiet or tame, and this is just an Axle-Back, so keep in mind that it can get even louder with a mid-pipe and headers. With that being said, I'm going to give it a solid 3 or 4 out of 5 on the loudness scale. At the end of the day though, no matter if you love this sound or hate it, it really all depends on what you're looking for and what you like. And luckily, there are quite a few options that are out there. When we start to look at price, we see that this Axle-Back is going to be on the less expensive side of things. It costs right about $550, while some of the more expensive competition is hitting the $800 or $1,000 or even $1,200 price point, and the budget friendliest are coming in halfway through the $300 mark. You're going to be looking at the typical cut and clamp design with the install with this Axle-Back, like all other Axle-Backs. So I'm going to call this a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the scale, just like I do with all other Axle-Backs, but just because the cutting net's involved. It's nothing difficult, but I would just recommend some eye protection and a fresh blade to make the cutting easier. Overall, you're looking at about 2 hours to get this all done. A lift would certainly make things easier for you here, but the job can be done on stands as well if you don't have access to a lift. Cutting the factory Axle-Back isn't hard, but I would just be sure to measure twice and plan and mark where you'll be cutting so you don't make a mistake. The new Axle-Back will come with 4 new clamps for you, 2 for the tips and 2 for the Axle-Back itself, so you don't have to worry about that. And when you go to install your new setup, it would probably be easiest to leave everything loose until you have it all lined up and then tighten it down. Overall, the Roush Axle-Back is a great option for those looking for a louder and raspy sounding system. It's an open-chambered muffler design, it's made from 304 stainless steel, and it has 4-inch chrome flash stainless steel tips. You can check this Axle-Back out some more online for yourself, and for all things Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.